Welcome to the Spirit of Business, where businesses learn to thrive. I am your host, Jamie Pritchard, mortgage agent with Mortgage Guys. Today, my guest is Jennifer Beale. She's an award-winning producer, an award-winning networker, and a joint venture strategist. Welcome, Jennifer. How are you today?
Thank you so much, Jamie, for having me here. I am great. And hello, everybody out there.
So just for our listeners, this is a special edition, and we're going to be talking to Jennifer about her background, and she has a fantastic event coming up in just a couple of weeks that we think will be ideal for a lot of our listeners. Jennifer, before we get started, I do have to ask you about your background. Can you give us a little bit of detail on how that came about?
Yeah, well, the beautiful background behind me, I found it's a sunrise, and I ordered it from China, and it took a long time to get here, but when it finally arrived and I opened up the package and put it up, it was just like so colorful, and it's art, and it's very expressive to how I like to live my life and do business.
Well, having known you for a while, I think what really hit me when you with you sitting there is it's really an expression of sort of what's inside of you as well. One of the things that I always find interesting, and some of the challenges with a lot of entrepreneurs, especially in these tough times, is their morning routine. Can you explain to us a little bit about what your morning routine is like?
Yeah, thanks, Jamie. And you know, habits are so important and rituals are so important. And so I do have a number of rituals that I practice throughout the day. So I have a morning ritual, an afternoon ritual, and an evening ritual. And my morning ritual is I get up at 5:30 and I take my dogs to the nearby meadow and we walk in the meadow. Nobody else is there. This morning we saw a coyote. Some days we see deer, a heron, hawks, birds. We hear the birds singing and the sun rises. And that's how I start my day. And then I come home, have breakfast, work out, and then I jump on the computer and I start doing things. So I'm usually at work by 7 o'clock in the morning. And then I focus on my most important work. And it will be one thing. And I'll do uninterrupted focus on that project every single day until the project is complete. So that's my morning ritual to get going. And then I have an afternoon ritual. So around lunchtime, my brain's out of juice and I need to recharge it. And so I eat, I'll go outside again. Nature really seems to ground me. And I might do a little bit of a workout at that time, but I take a break to recharge. And then in the afternoon, that's when I usually have my meetings with people. So I got my work, what I needed to get, it's done. Now I can spend time with people in meetings. And then I also take very good care of myself. And in the evening, I unwind. I get off of my computer long before I need to sleep. I do some things to take care of, I don't know, like the house or whatever needs to be done, my pets. Right. And then I read before I go to sleep. So I do all of these rituals through the day, and they keep my energy high so that I can be highly productive every single day and get the stuff done that I want to get done.
Right. So that explains why you're always so energetic every time I talk to you, no matter what time of day it is.
You know what it is, Jamie? I learned this from someone. I rest to work rather than work to rest. And what lies behind that, what I see, and I used to do this as well, is that I would work. And then I'd need to take a week off holiday. Right. And then I would, it would take me a day or two to unwind when I was on the holiday, and then, I'm relaxed and everything. And then I would come back and then I would have to slowly ramp back up again. You come back from a really nice, warm Caribbean space and you come back to your home and, it takes a while to get back into it. And I noticed that other people were doing this as well. And I stopped doing it. And I started to take the rest and the breaks that I needed through the day. I started taking very good care of myself. So what I eat, some supplements that I take. I drink a lot of water all day long. I don't drink coffee anymore. There's no caffeine whatsoever. And so but it's with the desire to be able to do the things that I want to do every single day and enjoy doing them. No drudgery and no pushing myself, and certainly not hurting myself in the process.
And the key thing I find too is the last year and a half with myself as well is energy management. that is just as important as scheduling your work and time management and things, but being able to manage your energy. And it's fantastic that you've got a handle on that. I love the concept of rest to work. That's fantastic.
I don't need holidays. I rest when I need to.
Okay.
I don't need to like go and recharge.
Well, I hope you do get away. It's hard now, but I hope at some point throughout the year you do get away. So Jennifer, can you give us a little bit of background? At the intro, we talked about an award-winning networker, an award-winning producer, and a joint venture. So can you give us a little bit of background, sort of how you got into this, how long you've been doing it?
Yeah, let's start with the joint ventures. So this was like 35 years ago. I'm young and I want to get into business, and I'm at a job interview. And the man tells me the story how he was in Australia and he bought this sporting equipment from a company, and he came back to Canada and he thought it was just so great and everybody in Canada should have it. He took it to a department store, a Canadian department store, and showed them it. And they ended up buying a whole bunch of them. And he told me that he didn't have to put out any money on this order. He didn't have to buy any of the products, but he received a check for $130,000 just for making that connection. Well, I mean, I was young and wanting to start at my career. I was just like wide-eyed, like, I'm going to learn how to do that. And then 16 years ago, I met a gentleman, a very successful business owner, Brian Clemmer, who did leadership and character development training. And he and I teamed up. I did a joint venture with him for about 7 years, and I helped him make over $1 million. And it was so exciting to be able to do that, like finally get in and do it. And then since then, I've been helping people. I've been joint venturing with people and helping them get clients and make money. I mean, people make, you know, thousands, tens of thousands, over $100,000 from the connections that I make for them. And it's very rewarding. And so that's how I got into joint ventures and doing all of that. And the rest came along with it. You know, I started doing the events with Brian. That's where I cut my teeth and learned how to do them. And then just before that, 18 years ago, I'd started networking as very shy. I'm very introverted. At the time, very socially awkward. And I mastered it. I just set out and I hung out with people who knew what they were doing, and I gravitated toward those who had the skills and the ability to teach, and they mentored me, and I learned how to do it. So to be honest, to know that I've won awards for being an event producer or awards for being a networker, I kind of like pinch myself, because who would have thought? Who would have thought way back then that could even be possible? And who could have thought I could help people like make millions of dollars?
Well, and that's, you know, that's so interesting, because you had such a seminal moment, I call it, where, you know, something was impressed upon you that you hadn't even thought about, didn't even enter your range of consciousness, and thought, how did this person do that? I like the concept of so when you talk about joint ventures, I've been in business and business sales for about 30 years. And when I think of joint ventures, I think of two people coming in with money for marketing, advertising, and then coming together to try to build something greater and get more money. But what you're talking about is utilizing your relationships, and hopefully with very little or no upfront money, and then making money from what you've done and made those introductions. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, there's many ways that you can do these joint ventures together, and essentially you're sharing resources. So whether you're sharing money, like you said, you're sharing social currency, intellectual property, or actual assets, physical assets, like maybe you have office space, you have event space, you could be skills. I mean, you can share anything that you want with somebody else. The key, I think, in all of it is that we need something more than what we have. And so we're going to seek out somebody who has that asset, and then form a relationship with them, and then find ways where, you know, when the trust is built, that we could share those resources for common and individual goals. And that's really the premise behind it. It doesn't matter what the asset is, it's the sharing. And, you know, it's not a legal entity. You don't start a new business. You can work on a project. You can work for a long time. I mean, I worked with Brian for 7 years. The only reason we don't work today is he did die. You know, sadly, he died, and I was unable to work with him any longer. And, you know, the legacy he left in me is this ability of knowing how to do these joint ventures. I mean, he was a class act. I mean, his character was top notch, integrity. You know, he was trustworthy, and you know, I couldn't have found a better mentor, coach, elder to have done my first joint venture with and learn how to do it.
So a big part of what I know about you with your joint ventures is events. I wouldn't call you an event planner. You know, because what you're doing is bringing together things. So you've done, what I remember from you is that one of the things that you do a lot of is you do networking bashes, get people together, help people build business. Can you tell us more about, you know, events and things that you've done?
Yeah, so around the time that I met Brian that same year, I started my first summer networking bash, and it was really out of necessity. Everybody was shutting down their live events, and I relied on networking to do business. And that year, I won some appetizers at a bar, and they said I could bring as many people as I want. So I brought 250, and they paid for all the appetizers, and we sold out at that first event. I know.
Okay.
So that was a joint venture there. They provided the space, right, and the appetizers, and I brought all the people to buy the drinks. And then we did all this networking and everything, and people raved about it. So I started doing, you know, I just kept doing it every year. And we've had as many as 1,000 people at these live in-person events that I've been doing for the past 16 years. And it's been fun for me. I really enjoyed doing it.
So what drives you, Jennifer? What is the motivation behind doing these events and bringing people together?
You know, I really care about people. I think as human beings, you know, we're on this planet to help one another. And that's not always how it is in business. There's in this society sort of this dog eat dog, you know, stand on your own 2 feet, be self-sufficient, figure it out. And my experience in success has been the opposite of that. My success has come from working collaboratively with other people, and they're, you know, and working with good people, and they're with integrity, and they're honest, and they're honorable, and we get stuff done. You know, we're value adders, and we are committed to getting results, and so we take action and do it. And I've never seen it. I've never seen anybody do well in dog eat dog and, you know, self-sufficiency. Yet that's sort of the context of this society for some reason. Right. And so what really drives me is my need to be surrounded by great people and to bring together people so they can be surrounded by great people as well. And then when you're surrounded by great people, guess what happens? Great things start to happen for everybody. And so it's a true win-win-win all the way through this.
You know what really impresses me about what you just said. Not once there did you mention money. You talked about starting with the person and caring for the people. Let's take a new idea. You seem very open to new ideas and everything. And at the end of the day, what you do is you make things profitable. The events become profitable, but that's not your focus. That's not like you put up on the whiteboard and say, we're going to make $1 million at this. No,
well, that's not what we do, but let's be clear. Yeah. I like helping people make money. And I really believe what Zig Ziglar said. If I help enough other people get what they want, I can have what I want. That's how I play. Yeah. And that's the spirit of what I want to give people. But I don't think, and this is you know, there's kind of another side to this when we avoid talking about money, is to think that money's bad or dirty or something. And so I've had an elder help me understand how money and soul come together. And so money can destroy relationships, and we've all probably experienced that. We've all probably had an experience where somebody didn't pay us something that was owed, or didn't give us money that we thought that we had deserved or earned or whatever. We felt jaded. At the same time, though, money can build relationships. And so with me, I care about people and I want them to earn money. And so I build kinship by helping people make money. You better believe that Brian and I had kinship because I helped him make over $1 million.
Right.
So they're not anti,
Right.
You get rid of this dualistic mind that it's soul or money, and it's money and soul can come together. And I think that's the challenge as a human being, to learn that in business and be a soulful business practitioner. The spirit of business is that, how can those two come together?
Right.
In goodness and to help people, because we all need money.
Yep.
And I just think about people, they got families. How can I help you make more money so you can take better care of your family? And in the back of my mind, it's like, when some person cannot provide for their family, that causes a lot of angst in their life.
Right.
If I can do something to help remove that by whatever it is that I've got that I could share with somebody, whether it's connections with people, some ideas, spend a little bit of time and teach them or coach them in a certain way so that money comes more easily into their life, man, and they can take better care of their family and provide. And you feel good when you can provide for your family. And family's a value of mine. I really care about family.
I'm getting goosebumps. I mean, just what you talk about, and bringing the energy of money, because it's always in an energy exchange, no matter what we do with people. But bringing the soul, I think you said the soul and money together. I absolutely love that, and to me, that is part of the spirit of business. It's not being afraid to use that word in the context of business, and I realize it has multiple meanings for people, but at the core of why I do this, that's it, is I want people to understand that money is not a bad thing. And sometimes it is for people. Even if we're an entrepreneur and we say we want to make money, we have stuff around that. So
well, you know what's beautiful about money?
What's that?
Money, my elder has taught me, has a genius to it. There's nothing like money. Bring it onto the table, or not have it on the table, to show somebody what's in their soul. It will show you what's in your soul, who you really are. And when you can see who you really are, you can then you can decide what you want to do with that. But when people are just walking around unconscious to it all, or not awake to what's really in their soul, they're just walking around in their head all the time. That's hard to develop character, and like the juice in life is being a fully functioning human being. It's not in walking around in your head. And so one of my other elders recently told me how the soul makes a circle. It brings together, like in circles, the heart and the brain together, and the soul is what holistically brings them together. There's no dualism in it.
Jennifer, help me understand elder. What do you mean, in what context is that?
Yeah, in our society, we've lost elders, and we just don't seem to have them anymore. And we think of elder as being like old. And all you have to do is look at where we put old people to understand what we think about old in this society. It's it's a terrible state that where we put them and how they're treated and disrespected. And then at the same time, we seem to just worship youth, young, and this is the most important thing. It's never before in history has it been this way. And this is how I've been taught by my elders. So an elder is somebody who's wise. Now, I have mentors, I have coaches, I have consultants, I have spiritual directors, I have all of these people. But the elder itself, if you look in any healthy culture, they're not an elder because they've labeled themselves an elder. They're an elder because they've been eldered. And they got the wisdom because they were open to having older people come in and help make them human beings. And so it's a hard person to find in this society.
Yes.
It really, truly is. And, but when you do find an elder, when you go to somebody to be elder, because you can't become an elder because you want to be, you become an elder because you've been eldered. And
Yes.
I think if I look back in my life, I didn't really know what I was doing, but along the way, there were people that gave a crap about me, and I let them make changes, help to change me and make me more of a human being. I've been through like some really hard times, and I've never tried to avoid those. I don't try and transcend difficult times. I go in, I let the situation, crack me open, wide open, and do its thing on me so that more of me can come out and I can be more. And without elders, that's an impossible thing I found to do. I mean, I could go in great depth about what's going on around me and what I see in society. And
Well, what I like,
but that's an elder. An elder is somebody who gives a crap about you and has wisdom.
and they could be here on this earth, or they could be somebody who's already passed that you have learned something from.
Yes, I'm often eldered by through watching their videos or reading their books. I attend their workshops, and some of them I do have access to directly to talk with. And I would call Brian Clemmer an elder.
Okay. You mentioned about getting through some difficult times. So March 17th, Trudeau announced that we were in the middle of a pandemic. There would be some big changes and all that. How did that impact you and your business?
Okay, so how it impacted me and how it impacted my business are two different things. So which one do you want me to go in first?
Well, let's
go with how it impacted my business.
How did it impact you personally? What happened at that moment? What happened at that moment for you?
Okay, so when all of that happened, I was okay. In fact, the week before, I saw what was coming, and I started looking around in the world to see where the leadership was. And I started to watch how other people were responding to this. So that's the genius of COVID-19. It's got a magnifying effect to it to be able to see what's really there.
Right.
It's genius that way. So I've used it for that. So to be honest, personally, I have rituals. Nothing's really changed. I get up every day. I've walked my dogs in the meadow, watch the sunrise, come home and eat my breakfast. I have a project to work on. I work on that for a little while, and I stay connected with people. I've kept my meeting schedule jam-packed full for my business. I continue doing that, and I reached out to people around me to say, how can I help you make money? So, okay. But on a business side, because I produce events that are live in person, that was gone. And I didn't know when it would come back, but to be honest, I haven't really been concerned about that. Every once in a while, I acknowledge how much revenue from my business just disappeared like that.
Okay, just time out a second here. Let me understand this. So I get that personally, you've got a pretty strong foundation, but you look around and you realize my plan, the revenue that I thought I was going to make is gone.
Yeah.
Now, some people, that would be a very sinking feeling, and oh my God, what am I going to do? But you're telling me that that's not exactly what happened to you.
No, everything that had gone on in my life prior to that, all of the people that gave a crap about me and had eldered me, that was my foundation that I was on. And so when this happened, the genius in COVID-19 is I was able to see that I had a foundation and what it was. Now, everybody has a foundation.
Yeah.
And so for me, what I was able to see was that everything I had done previous in my life had prepared me for this time. Right. And I can remember some things like, the frustration was I had to be in lockdown and I couldn't go out and help people. And I knew that other people weren't doing well, and I wanted to do more than what I could.
Right.
And so I reached out to people around me who were in tech, and we started connecting with people and helping them pivot their business and get them online.
Right.
And we helped them. And I formed a 10% club so people could come and network. I started promoting all of the events that pivoted and went online, and some of them did it immediately and some came later. And I kept promoting those to everybody, whoever had what. And I just was watching and responding to everything that was going on around me. And again, it was gravitating toward the leaders, toward the people that were moving and not going into my own personal lockdown, even though I couldn't go out of my house
Right.
the way I had,
Right.
or meet with people live in person. But I was not personally going to go into lockdown and stop. I had these rituals, they're habits, they're ingrained
Yep.
in me.
Yep. So you were still connecting, and then you obviously had a summer bash that your summer networking bash that you've now done for, did you say 16 years in a row?
Yeah, this is the 16th year. Okay, so when did that really? So I watched what other people were doing in their events, and I checked out a lot of different platforms, and I went on a lot of conferences. I gravitated toward the leaders, the people who were moving, the people that were doing things in the economy, to see what they were doing, and I examined the technology. And so this is the crazy thing, is I didn't know what to do with it. I had never done a virtual summer networking bash. You know, like the event is we get like up to 1,000 people coming into a venue. We have food for them. There's breakout sessions. There's speakers. You come when you want through the day. You can just network the whole day with people that you meet. We had exhibitors. Like, how do you take that and put it online? How do you do that virtually? And I saw a couple of people doing all of that. And so it was June 19th. Because I announced the event and I put tickets on sale the first day of summer, which is June 20th. June 19th, I'm like, I really have to do something. What am I going to do? And so I quickly put up an event up on the website on Eventbrite. And I said, we're doing summer networking bash. It'll be virtual. I had absolutely no idea what it was going to look like, what we were going to do. I put an email together and I said, you're in my network. I really care about you. I'm going to do this event. Would you like to have a guest pass? And I put it out there, and then we just had hundreds of people register on the first day of summer. And that was very encouraging for me, that people, even though I hadn't cast a vision other than we're going to do something, that people actually said, I'm with you. And knowing that people were going to come along with me, whatever I did, really encouraged me a lot. And I have an amazing business community, and I really thank everybody for believing in me and doing that. And
so I just want to pause for a second, because I want to point out one key thing that I think holds back a lot of people, has held me back at times. And what you did is you picked a date. You had no idea what that event was going to look like. But you made the commitment, put it out there to the world, the universe, your friends and everything. And you're working from faith at this point, that things are going to come together.
Totally.
That is amazing, because so many people would have said, oh my God, 7 weeks to pull together an event of 1,000 people, and I've never done this.
No, it seems crazy now that we're talking about it, because I didn't really think about it too much. I don't go there when I think about stuff. I look at like, what can I do?
Right.
And when I go and I do something, I would rather do something small, exceptionally well, than try and do something really grand, so. That's just the way I am. Right. And so I thought, if it's just 100 of us that day, but I do something exceptionally well, that's great. So I teamed up with somebody who had always done my AV in my events, Terry Holdershaw, and he has this really cool platform where there's a live studio in Vaughan. So it's got a stage, it's TV quality, it's got teleprompter and all of that, and then there's screens, and you can see all the people that are on Zoom, and then they're in the next suite doing all the tech. And like, I'm not a tech kind of person. I can hold my own in some things, but I couldn't hold it on this event. And so I hired Terry, and we've got this studio where we can run everything. He can do all the tech stuff, bring people in through Zoom. And then we've got some international speakers that will be brought in again through another system. So it's customized for this particular event. Okay. And so I didn't really understand how it could work, but I knew that we could do something, and we would do it small enough that it was exceptionally well. So that was the start. Now, this still costs me money, right? And I'm like, well, I'm giving guest passes out to these people. Like, where's the revenue? Like, will people actually pay for this event? You know,
Right.
I didn't really know what to do for all of that. So then I had this idea that I would go to some of the people in my hot traffic membership. I have this hot traffic accelerator program where I make people joint venture ready. And I went to all of them and I said, you know, I've got this like studio, and we've got the Zoom, and I've got the event date, and
Yeah.
I've got people that want to come. Would you like to joint venture with me and be part of that event? So I already knew them. I had established relationships. And so we formed these joint ventures with these people. And that was like really crazy, because I was thinking about it on a Wednesday, and it was like at 9 a.m. on Friday morning. It kind of came to me what I would say to them, how I would present it to them. And then we met at 10 a.m. And there were like, I don't know, I think there were like 8 people that were there that day with me. And I said, this is what I'm thinking of doing. This is this is how it all works. Technology can do this and this and this. Do you want to do it? And 5 of them said yes.
Wow.
And then
Wow.
I got encouraged even more. Wow. Like I'm making this up, but I'm casting vision and I'm applying who I am, and they're seeing it. And if they can see it, then it can come to fruition. If I can see it and then somebody else can see it now, then it can come to fruition. And so that's how it went. And then since then, there's just been all these people that have come around me saying, I want to be part of this event. How can I fit? So I've got a TV producer who's come on, and she's going to run it like a TV show and MC it. We've got somebody who's coming in who's going to cook up lunch for everybody. They'll get the recipe list, and then they're going to cook up together lunch, and it'll be a fun lunch hour for people, and they'll learn a little bit about productivity and eating healthy and all of that. Like the things that I do at lunchtime, we're going to do at lunch there. And it's going to be a day, it's just going to be amazing. It's going to be exceptional. And just all these people showed up and said they wanted to play. And I said, okay, play. And we just joint venture. The whole thing's a joint venture.
Now, does it matter where people are coming from? Anywhere in the world, North America?
Well, they are coming from anywhere in the world. Yeah, because it's virtual. Isn't that great? So we've got people from the UK and people from the United States and Canada so far who are coming in. And anybody can come to this event and participate because they're going to do it on Zoom.
So help me understand, if I'm attending this event, it's a whole day event. And like you said, I can sort of plug in to whatever I want to. I could spend the whole day if I want to. If I was a small business owner or an entrepreneur looking at improving myself or getting some new ideas, how does your event help me do that?
Okay, so what I've created for everybody is what I did when COVID-19 hit. I turned to the people that were around me and I said, you can do this, you can do business in this marketplace. I can't, but I have these assets. Let's joint venture. And I've helped a lot of people make money during COVID-19. One of my members made $66,000 the second week of April. From the idea I came up with to the launch of it, which was 1 week later, they made $66,000. And I made somebody else $21,000. And I've made other people 1,000 here and 10,000 there. And, you know, it's coming in. I mean, one person this year has made probably about $50,000 from me joint venturing with them. So I've got ideas and resources, and when we put them in action, they start making money. So the event, when you come to the event, I'm going to teach you how to do what I did and what I do, what I've been doing for 16 years, which all started 35 years ago from this idea that you can make money without having to have the manufacturing plant and the product and the ability to ship overseas or the money to buy it all, but you can still get in on the deals that are happening. And Jamie, I'm going to tell you, and you know this, in this marketplace, the money is moving. It's just changed how it's moving.
Exactly.
And when you understand where the money is and how it's moving, you can joint venture in there and make some money with people. And that's what we're going to be doing that day. We're going to, I'm bringing in a lot of people to share a lot of different strategies that you can do when it comes to strategic alliances, joint ventures.
Right.
And so there'll be some education. People are going to come and they're going to learn how to do this. And then they get to do it. And then you get to do it right at the event. because we're going to have some sessions where you break out and you start meeting people, and you start meeting them, and you start finding the people that could be joint venture partners with you. So you get the learning, you understand that you know who you should be looking for, and then you get some time to go and meet them, and you can book appointments with them and start getting yourself JV ready so that you can go out there and start doing some deals with people.
So just so I understand, the joint venture could be in the business. So like I might find people that could help me in my mortgage business, but there could also be something or ideas that come up that, oh, wow, I never thought of that I could go outside of this industry or outside or in somebody else, or somebody may see something in me that says, you know what you have, we could use over here. That's the type of thing you're talking about. It could be, you're creating something from
what seems like
I wouldn't say nothing. I was going to say nothing, but that's not really the case.
Here's the amazing thing first. Let me just say this, is that,
Okay.
and then I'll give some examples of some ways that people can joint venture. They're really easy ways to.
Okay.
So everyone on this planet has been given some kind of capital. You have assets. Every person on this planet has assets that somebody else doesn't have and wants. Everybody, we're all on equal footing this way. And that's the great thing about it. Just some have more assets than other ones. And so when you assess what assets that you have, then you can find people who want those. And then you can form the joint ventures around that. And those would be people that have something that you want, and you bring it together. So let me give you a couple of examples.
Okay.
One would be a triangle. I do a lot of these where say my next door neighbor wants to get their driveway paved, and I'm talking to them over the fence, and I find out that's what they're going to do. And I say, oh, I know somebody who paves driveways. And they go, you do? I go, yeah, you can really trust them. And then I go to my trusted paver and I say, hey, my neighbor needs to have their driveway paved. Would that, would you like an introduction? They go, yeah. And I go, well, will you pay me if I introduce you? Like, is it valuable to you? And they go, yeah. And so then I introduce them, and my neighbor gets a really good paving job with a great, reliable paver. And the paver has paid me a little bit because I made the introduction. So that's a triangle. People can make money that way really easily. Right now I'm working on some deals like one of them was like over $40 million deal. That's just a straight triangle. I mean, there's some big stuff out there. If you understand what's going on in the marketplace, you can do these triangles. So that's one example. Another example would be barter. And barter is when you exchange goods or services without exchanging money. So say, Jamie, you have, say you have a boat. I want to buy a boat, and you have a boat. And over here I have a car. And you say, I'm looking for a car, Jennifer, and you're looking for a boat. Why don't we barter? And there are, the car and the boat, they're worth about the same amount. And so we just do a barter. That would be an example of that. So money's not necessarily exchanged when you're doing barter. You can share. Or say I need somebody to help me build a website. And so the website costs $5,000. And then I say, well, I'll barter with you. I'll give you $5,000 worth of coaching and consulting. And they go, okay. And that could be a barter too.
Okay.
So that's an example of barter. And then another example of joint ventures that a lot of people can do, regardless of how established they are in their business, is they can become an affiliate. And an affiliate is when you find a large business that is scaling itself. They're growing and growing and scaling, and there's no really limit to how much they can sell. And you come on as an affiliate partner along with other affiliate partners. So they may have many, many, many of them, and you do your part, and then you promote them and share them. And a lot of it's done e-commerce. And then when somebody buys what they're selling, then it's tracked back to you and you get paid for it. And an example of that would be Amazon. Amazon does that. They have all kinds of affiliate partners. I mean, somebody right now could start a business and be an affiliate and make money with Amazon because lots of people buy on Amazon. So, those are three easy ways that people can joint venture with each other and get paid to do it. And, referrals is another example. There's referral groups out there, and they operate kind of like you refer to other people and you hope that they're going to refer back to you, but often they don't. Or you refer 5 to them, but they only refer 1 back to you. And it just doesn't seem like it's fair. So I started this thing called the 10% Club with Bill Bishop. And we've got this group now where if I refer to somebody else, it doesn't matter to me whether they're going to refer back to me, because they're going to pay me 10% or more for giving them the business. And
Right.
so we've got a group like that operates completely like that, just straight on referrals. And
Okay.
people just need to be creative. And, you know, if there's value there and they're a business person and they're dealing with a business person and that business person may be open to paying them, then just ask. And if they are, then do it. And if they're not open to it, then don't do it. Go find somebody who's open to it. And that's really, it's a simple premise.
I want to acknowledge a couple of things that I'm hearing from you. One, your energy. We talked about that at the beginning with your background and how that is. If I were to describe your energy, that is perfect, and I can see why you were attracted. I want to acknowledge first of all the slight moment. I think. I always think if somebody got the news or realized that the moment that they that their business had completely been had evaporated for the year, most people that would be devastating. For you, it was just what do I need to learn from this situation? And what I like, what I think you are very good at is just helping people. You said it at the beginning, is I just continue to do. I'm locked down, but I'm not locked out. So I'm going to continue to help the people that I did. You did that, came up with an idea, just put it out there, and now you're a week and a half away from making this whole event reality. And I want to impress upon the viewers, because we did have a little discussion about this beforehand. This isn't just like any Zoom conference that you've just decided to throw up. You've mentioned the planning that goes into it. You've got a studio behind you. You've got producers that are helping out. You're using your network. And this is something that I feel I will certainly be there for the whole day. I've already cleared my schedule. And it is something that I know the listeners that are out there, this can be very valuable. And I just want to acknowledge you for being who you are and not being afraid to let external circumstances or crisis affect that. Last question for you. What does the spirit of business mean to you?
The spirit of business. Well, you know, the marketplace is, it's a great place to be. That's where everything's happening. And the spirit part of it in itself would be the people that are in that marketplace and who they are and how they're showing up in that marketplace and the spirit that they're creating in that marketplace. And I think right now, you know, people are having different experiences, and I want to acknowledge that.
Yes.
I don't want to say to people that I think everybody should be doing what I'm doing in this. I want to acknowledge that for some people, their situation is a tough one. And I have a lot of compassion for that. And I think, you know, when we come to the marketplace as human beings, the spirit in us is one of compassion and caring and kindness and wanting to help raise each other up. That's the spirit I want to see in business. That's the spirit that I'm bringing to business, and that's the spirit I want to activate in other people.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. And for our listeners, the Summer Networking Bash, I will be posting a link through my Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram when just after this in the post for this interview. And I will be also sending it out to my database as well. So I'd like to thank you for listening. Jennifer, thank you for coming here. Thank you for setting this up in a time of crisis and seeing the need and helping other business owners. You are a fantastic human being.
Thank you so much, Jamie. You're a fantastic human being as well. And everybody out there, come to Summer Networking Bash. I promise you, you can come in not knowing anything or knowing a little bit or knowing a lot. And by the end of the day, you're going to be inspired, activated. You might even have already started deals. You're going to meet a lot of like-minded, ambitious, and well-meaning people. It's going to be a fantastic day, and it's going to change how you do business forever.
Fantastic. This has been the Spirit of Business, where businesses learn to thrive. And remember, you may be working by yourself, but you are never alone.